I guess not many of you know about this. I've been working in this field for almost 2 years now, and I'll be presenting in the context of through the lenses of this device called Microsoft HoloLens. And so, first of all, what's mixed reality? So it's this spectrum where on one end of the spectrum you have the physical reality, the conventional reality you and me are used to, and on the other part of the spectrum we have virtual reality, where we have full immersion, where we are like, if any of you tried VR, you know what I'm talking about. And everything in between is what we call mixed reality spectrum. Now, I guess many of you heard about augmented reality, and you usually experience those through like a smartphone screen. And the difference there is that you cannot perceive those objects in 3 dimensions, right? Because you're looking at a 2D screen. Whereas with Microsoft HoloLens, you have small displacements for both for your eyes. The projections are kind of slightly displaced, which gives you like not the illusion, it gives you a real 3D like perception of holograms. So you really feel like they are a 3D object somewhere in the space, and they feel natural. So here is an example of how it might look like. And it looks much better, of course, on the device because it's in 3D. The only bad thing about the device, and many devices out there, the second famous one is Magic Leap, is that they have something called field of view. And that means you can only see these holograms through that specific part of the space. And yeah, otherwise they'll get cropped. So that's a bad thing. So, okay, so how does this device do this? And how does it understand through visual, through cameras and stuff? How does it understand the world, and how does it understand you? Well, there are a couple of stacks that are important here. So the first one is understanding the world. So HoloLens tries and figure out the 3D geometry of the space around you to create like these maps, and also tries to localize itself in these 3D maps. And I'll just show you a video. I hope it will play.
It also recognizes the world. Welcome.
Again, can you again confirm that you hear the sound?
The sound is being heard, I can confirm.
Awesome, thanks. Okay, so what you just saw there is a mesh. So it's just a visualization of what hologram is HoloLens is internally storing. It's a 3D map. And so we need that information in order to place holograms, right? But we also need a second part is this one. So it's called semantic understanding or scene understanding. So once we have those planes, we know where like we have like basically geometrical planes. It would be really neat to know, hey, is this like a floor? Is this a wall? Is this a ceiling? And once you know, for example, if I want to place, I don't know, a chair, well, it makes sense that you'll place the chair somewhere on the floor and not on the wall or on ceiling. So we can maybe like make it easier for you and kind of automatically place the hologram or suggest some locations, because we not only have 3D information, we'll also have understanding of the space around us, around the device, I mean. Okay, cool. So that's about understanding the outer world. So it also needs to understand you. And there are 2 parts here when it comes to eyes. So one is iris recognition. And this is not so much related to placing holograms, but it's a really cool feature. So basically the device analyzes your eyes, your iris, and allows you to log into the device like in maybe like 200 milliseconds without typing in any passwords. It's a really nice feature to have. Let me try and play the video.
Fits just like a hat. And the only thing that's even more effortless is how I'm automatically signed in.
You cannot see much here, but like she just put the device on the head and she gets some small visualizations in 3D space, and she's logged into the device. Second, more important feature is called eye tracking. And the idea there is to, we know exactly where you're looking at in the space. We know your 3D vector, your gaze. But by knowing that information, we know exactly at which hologram you're looking at. So we can, for example, maybe highlight that hologram or maybe give you some options because we know you're looking at some hologram in the space. So one really cool applications you'll see here in this video is it's called auto scrolling. And basically Julia, this girl in the video, will look at the bottom part of the browser here. Actually, this is Teams, whatever, this is just a page. And the hologram will detect that she's looking there, and it will just automatically scroll the page for her.
Eye tracking. So I could just look over to this browser here and look at the bottom of the screen to scroll it.
And I've tried this one. This one is really useful and really neat. So those were eyes and understanding of human eyes. And now we need this ingredient is really important. So understanding hands, because you want to manipulate the holograms, right? So what HoloLens does is that it creates a 3D model of your hands. Again, you can think of it like a 3D mesh. And here's how it looked like.
It also recognizes my hands. Look at this. Fully articulated hand tracking.
And once you have that, you can do amazing stuff. So because we know the information where your hands are and we know where the hologram is, so basically like some elementary collision physics tells you when your hand is touching the hologram, and you can do many stuff. You can resize the hologram, you can rotate it, you can place it somewhere in the space. And here is how it looks like here in the video.
And in fact, I can just grab this corner to resize it. Or I can rotate it. Or move it. That's right.
Okay, awesome. So those were the three parts I wanted to mention about the HoloLens device. Hope you like this one. Here is one more interesting thing in mixed reality world. So it's called HoloPortation. And the idea here is we have this fancy, expensive setup full of different cameras and different sensors, depth sensors and stuff. And the idea is that some person is in a studio wherever, somewhere in the world, and we basically take a 3D point cloud of the person's body, and we can transfer that body somewhere else, and that just feels like science fiction. Let me show you the video.
My daughter is stood in a similar capture rig somewhere else in our lab, and she's going to holoport into my space, and I'm going to interact with her wearing my HoloLens.
Hi, Baba.
Okay, so you saw that one, and now once you reconstruct, so you can see the daughter here. She's somewhere else in maybe other country or whatever, and she's been transmitted here. But you need to have, of course, you need to have some mixed reality device in order to see these holograms. But once you capture the 3D information, you can do whatever you want to do with that 3D information. So, for example,
my daughter is stood in a similar capture rig.
So you can maybe do this.
And because this is 3D content, we can miniaturize it onto this coffee table and experience it in a more convenient manner.
Okay, if that didn't blow your mind, I don't know what will. So